This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
The time is 8:45 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Here is the news edited by Anjana Dodamgoda and read by Tilani Pires. The headlines. The Speaker endorses certificate on Central Bank bill. The inaugural meeting reviews progress is implementing IMF economic reforms. The Minister of Agriculture says poultry and egg prices expected to drop. Therefore, imports of eggs are necessary. The top Asia-Pacific group on money laundering delegations crucial insights to bolster Sri Lanka's anti-money laundering and counter-terrorism financing framework ahead of 2025 mutual evaluation. Australian High Commission TWEC launched district skill development supporting tourism. And on international news, up to 20,000 people feared dead in Libyan city destroyed by floods. And on sports news, cricket, Asia Cup 2023, at the end of the 32nd over, Pakistan scored 168 runs for the loss of 5 wickets against Sri Lanka a short while ago. The Parliament Communication Department said the Speaker Mahinda Yapa endorsed the certificate on the Central Bank of Sri Lanka Bill and the Banking Special Provisions Bill today. The Central Bank of Sri Lanka Bill was passed in Parliament by majority on July 20th with amendments. The Banking Special Provisions Bill was passed without a vote on the 21st of July 2023. Accordingly, these bills will come into effect as the Central Bank of Sri Lanka Act No. 16 of 2023 and the Banking Special Provisions Act No. 17 of 2023. The inaugural meeting to assess Sri Lanka's progress regarding the implementation of the new economic reforms proposed by the International Monetary Fund was held at the Presidential Secretariat today. These discussions will be held over a period of 2 weeks from today, and the final discussion of the review will be held on 26 September under the patronage of President Ranil Wickremesinghe. Representing the Sri Lankan government in this deliberation were Minister of State for Finance Shehan Semasinghe, President's Senior Advisor on National Security and Chief of Staff Sagala Ratnayaka, President Secretary Samaneka Nayaka, Advisor to the President on Economic Affairs Dr. R.H.S. Samaratunga, Finance Secretary, Ministry Secretary Mahinda Sirivadana and Central Bank Governor Dr. Nandalal Veerasinghe. In response to an invitation from Sri Lanka's Financial Intelligence Unit, a high-level delegation from the Asia-Pacific Group on money laundering visited Sri Lanka recently. The high-level delegation consisted of eminent personalities including Julian Brazo, APG, Co-Chair and Associate Assistant Deputy Minister of Canada's Department of Finance in Ottawa, within the Financial Sector Policy Branch, Dr. Gordon Hook, Executive Secretary APG, and David Shannon, Director Mutual Evaluations APG. Their aim was to provide crucial insights ahead of the upcoming mutual evaluation of Sri Lanka's anti-money laundering and countering the financing of terrorism framework. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
Next Gen Lifestyle க்கு செட் ஆகும் டிஜிட்டல் பேங்கிங் பார்ட்னர் People's Bank.
The Minister of Agriculture, Mahinda Amaraveera, has assured that egg and chicken prices will likely decrease next year and remain stable thereafter. Additionally, he confirmed that there will be no need for egg imports from next year. Speaking at a news conference held at the Presidential Media Centre this afternoon, themed Collective Path to a Stable Country, the Minister highlighted that Sri Lanka's poultry and egg production industry, despite being self-sufficient, experienced a decline due to a reduced animal feed production caused by the COVID-19 pandemic and the economic crisis. He said currently the entire poultry and egg production for the nation is handled by the private sector, with the total chicken population across all farms exceeding 3,420,000. The government has decided to recall retired doctors and specialists for service on contract basis. Minister of Health Kehiliya Rambukwella says the move aims to address the prevailing doctor shortage at hospitals due to brain drain prompted by the economic crisis. The Minister Rambukwella said a proposal pertaining to the decision would be submitted to the Cabinet of Ministers. A substantial number of doctors and specialists in Sri Lanka have recently migrated to foreign countries in search of better remuneration and quality of life. As a result, the operations of a number of hospitals remain disrupted. That ends local news for now.
Enjoy seamless shopping. Open LCs, settle bills and transfer funds instantly, anywhere and anytime. With People's Bank Digital Solutions, you're empowered to do more whenever and wherever you want. Unlock a world of modern banking conveniences with People's Bank, your next generation digital banking partner. People's Bank.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
The President's Secretary Saman Ekanayake, in a letter addressed to all secretaries to the ministries, provincial chief secretaries, district secretaries and divisional secretaries, has emphasized the critical importance of enhancing communication and collaboration between government officials and political authorities at both district and divisional levels. The letter highlights concerns regarding the existing gap in effective coordination between government and semi-government institutions, district development committees and divisional development committees. This disconnect has posed significant challenges obstructing the successful execution of vital development projects. Furthermore, Ekanayake's letter draws attention to the persistent complaints filed by the chairpersons of district development committees and divisional development committees with the President Ranil Wickremesinghe. These complaints have raised issues related to the obstacles faced in development work arising from insufficient coordination between political authorities and government officials. That was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
And on Watch Light tonight, a senior officer said the computer systems responsible for handling the attestation process at the Foreign Affairs Ministry experienced an unexpected malfunction causing inconvenience for both staff and visitors. The officer pointed out that the Consular Division receives a significant volume of documents for attestation on a regular basis, which could have contributed to the sudden system failure. Despite the technical issue, he assured that individuals who arrived at the office with their booking details for document attestation would not be turned away. Efforts are currently underway by the technical team to rectify the problem, according to the officer. Meanwhile, a large number of people remained inside the office, patiently waiting for their scheduled appointments. That came to you in Watchlight.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
It's the power to live life your way. The power to be a trendsetter. Power to you with digital banking from Commercial Bank. Commercial Bank. Our interest is in you.
Moving on with world news and the headlines first. Up to 20,000 people feared dead in Libyan city destroyed by floods. Italy committed to fund fighter jet program with UK and Japan. A nationwide blackout across Nigeria after power grid collapse. The global officials said today up to 20,000 people are now feared dead after a torrent of water ripped through the eastern Libya, a devastating toll that could largely have been avoided. As cities in the ruined city of Derna searched underwater and under rubble, fears grew that rotting bodies could lead to a deadly outbreak of disease in the wake of this week's floods. A precise tally of the rising number of people killed is incredibly difficult given the level of destruction and chaotic political situation in the region, with bodies still washing up on the shore and burials being held in mass graves. Italy was committed to fund its share of the Italian Anglo-Japanese fighter jet program for 15 years, long enough for the aircraft to enter service. The director of the project at the Italian Ministry of Defense said on Wednesday. The next generation fighter project, named GCAP, is expected to cost tens of billions of dollars, but the three partners have not yet finalized how the budget or the work will be split. The grid has collapsed multiple times and it was not clear when power would be restored. The Enugu Electricity Distribution Company, which supplies electricity to southeastern Nigeria, issued a statement announcing a total system collapse. The company spokesman, Emeka Eze, said, "Due to this development, we are unable to provide service to our customers." Data from the Transmission Company of Nigeria showed power generation fell to zero early on today and had risen to 273 megawatts by 10:30 am, well below the daily average of 4,100 megawatts. Back to the world news headlines. Up to 20,000 people feared dead in Libyan city destroyed by floods. Italy committed to fund fighter jet program with UK and Japan. A nationwide blackout across Nigeria after power grid collapse. That ends world news.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
This message is for all the kids between the ages of 4 and 16 who love to draw. Commercial Bank's Arunalu Sittam is back once again. This time, the competition is also open to Sri Lankan kids currently living abroad. First, second and third place prizes will be awarded along with special merit and merit certificates. For more information, visit the Commercial Bank website. We have so many prizes to be won.
Development News.
The government has embarked on power sector reforms process to improve efficiency, consumer service, enhance migration to renewable energy and mobilization of private investments to the sector. JICA, as a long-term development partner and funding agency to the power sector, is committed to supporting the power sector reforms in Sri Lanka, and this technical cooperation will finance the consulting services on the power sector reforms by the senior lead advisor for the Ministry of Power and Energy. The said consulting service will not be financed out of the proceeds of the loan facility, and this will be compensated as one of JICA's technical cooperation projects grant, where there is no cost to the government or the citizens of Sri Lanka. That was Development News. Coming up, sports news and cricket. Pakistan won the toss and elected to bat first against Sri Lanka in the penultimate Super 4 contest of the Asia Cup 2023 at the R. Premadasa Stadium in Colombo. The match started late at 5:15 p.m. today with a delay of more than 2 hours due to heavy rain. A fresh spell of rain also delayed the crucial Pakistan-Sri Lanka match in the Asia Cup 2023. And now the two sides will lock horns in a 45-over contest. At the end of 33 overs, Pakistan had scored 168 runs for 5 wickets in a short while ago. The match continued, and of course it should be a 42 overs match. So let me repeat that part of the news. A fresh spell of rain delayed the crucial Pakistan-Sri Lanka match in the Asia Cup 2023, and now the two sides will lock horns in a 45-over contest. At the end of 33 overs, Pakistan had scored 168 runs for 5 wickets a short while ago. That ends sports news.
Go ekatiyana youth ekata life eke change ekata niyameta set wenna as wahagena dagapu veena habe karanna youth ekata niyameta set wenna friendship eka menna.
The all new NSB Itru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
The Australian High Commissioner to Sri Lanka, Paul Stevens, in collaboration with the Tertiary Vocational Education Commission, launched the District Skills Development Plan supporting tourism development with representatives from the district secretaries of Anuradhapura and Matale districts. The skills development plans have been developed by the industry and government stakeholders under the leadership of district government agents with technical support from the Australian aid-funded Skills for Inclusive Growth program. That came to you in Business News.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekatiyana youth ekata life eke change ekata niyameta set wenna as wahagena dagapu veena habe karanna youth ekata niyameta set wenna friendship eka menna.
The all new NSB Itru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
And on economic news, the Central Bank of Sri Lanka reported today the Employees Provident Fund has submitted an offer to exchange the portfolio of their treasury bonds under the Domestic Debt Optimization Program. Accordingly, the EPF informed its members that an eligible participant, and with the approval of the Monetary Board of CBSL, it has submitted an offer to exchange the portfolio of treasury bonds of the EPF under the DDO program in terms of the invitation made by the Minister of Finance, Economic Stabilization and National Policies following a resolution adopted by Parliament in this regard. The Monetary Board of the CBSL, as the custodian of the EPF, having considered the two options available, debt exchange and non-exchange, decided to opt for the debt exchange offer with a long-term view in the best interest of the members of the fund. That ends economic news.
Weather report.
Several spells of showers will occur in the western, Sabaragamuwa, northwestern and southern provinces and in the Kandy and Nuwara districts. Showers or thunder showers may occur at a few places in the Uva province and in the Batticaloa and Ampara districts during the night. Fairly strong wind 40 to 45 kilometers per hour can be expected at times in the western slopes of the Central Hills, northern, north central and northwestern provinces and in the Trincomalee and Hambantota districts. That was the weather report. And now to end this news broadcast, the main points once again. The Speaker endorses certificate on central bank bill. The inaugural meeting reviews progress in implementing IMF economic reforms. The Minister of Agriculture says poultry and egg prices expected to drop, therefore imports of eggs are necessary. Top Asia Pacific Group of Money Laundering Delegations, crucial insights to bolster Sri Lanka's anti-money laundering and counter-terrorism financing framework ahead of 2025 mutual evaluation. Australian High Commission, TWEC, launched district skills development supporting tourism. And on international news, up to 20,000 people feared dead in Libyan city destroyed by floods. And on sports news, Asia Cup 2023, at the end of the 32nd over, Pakistan scored 168 runs for the loss of 5 wickets against Sri Lanka short while ago. That ends its news broadcast.